What's up, guys? Welcome to What's on Jay's Mind. Let's talk about Microsoft's purchase of Zenimax Media.
What's on Jay's mind?
Alright, so I'm sure you guys have heard, but Microsoft recently bought Zenimax Media. This to me is a huge deal in gaming. This is going to tip scales for a couple of different things, and I'll go into detail more here in just a minute. But first, what is Zenimax Media? By now, I'm sure all you guys know, Zenimax Media basically owns Alpha Dog Games, Arcane Studios, Bethesda Softworks, id Software, Machine Games, Roundhouse Studios, Tango Gameworks, Zenimax Online Studios. And now Microsoft owns Zenimax Media, which means Microsoft now owns all of that. Okay, and in case you guys are wondering, these game developers are responsible for some huge titles in the gaming industry and huge titles throughout gaming history, honestly. Games like Doom, Quake, Rage, Elder Scrolls. I mean, that's Fallout. Okay, and that's just to name Wolfenstein. That's just to name a few. Okay, Dishonored, Prey, Evil Within. That's just to name a few. Microsoft now owns all of that. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that they control what platforms those go on. And my big concern with this is, what does that do for these titles that have been multi-platform, been on Xbox and on PlayStation? And I don't mean like not right now, in the future. So Bethesda had 2 games in the works for PlayStation 5 that were going to be exclusives. Now Microsoft has come out, Phil Spencer, I saw an interview with Phil Spencer, who is the head of Xbox. He came out and said, we're going to honor these contracts that are already in play. Well, you kind of have to, at least legally speaking, you have to, because if you don't, then you open yourself up to lawsuits and stuff like that, and nobody wants that, let's be honest. That being said, now that Microsoft owns Bethesda, that's still their money. But the games are Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, and they're still going to remain PS5 exclusives. According to some articles, they're saying that they're going to honor this, but in the future, console releases will be case by case. I'm not sure what that means. I personally, my concern with this is Xbox says, well, hey, the ball's in our court. We can do what we want to do. So we're going to withhold releases of like Elder Scrolls and Fallout. That's a big one on PS5 or in any PlayStation product at all going forward. I personally think this is a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think you lose money. I am well aware that now that they own these things, like Quake and Doom even, I know those are big PC games, but they're still released on console. There's still money made from those being released on console. If you alienate PlayStation people, I think you lose money. Even though these titles are big enough for someone on the fence to go, well, I really like Elder Scrolls, I really like Fallout, so if I can only get it over here, now I have to own this. I have to own an Xbox. And I know people are going to do that. This is the way the game is played. People make their decision on consoles based on exclusives, based on first-party titles. Example, you can't play Mario and Zelda unless you have a Switch. So if you want to play those, guess what? You got to buy a Switch. Uncharted, God of War, you got to have a PlayStation. That's part of why I am a Sony fanboy, because they got franchises like Uncharted and God of War that I just absolutely love, and that's the only place I can play them. But is it going to be enough people jumping ship or now buying this along with a Nintendo or a PlayStation to where they can go, well, we don't need to put it on PlayStation 4 because we have X amount more units sold now because of this? I don't think it balances out, if I'm being honest. Microsoft knows this as well as anyone. Money's in the software. Money's not in hardware. I mean, how often have we read in the past that, well, hell, PlayStation 3, when that one came out, Sony was losing money on every console they sold. I think the rumor was, $100 per console sold at the beginning was actually Sony was taking a hit on. that's a rumor. I don't believe it. I don't buy that. Honestly, but that's a completely different video. We're not going to talk about that right now. Point is, if you're losing money on consoles or not making a lot of money selling a console, where's the money made? In the software. To exclude a whole portion of gamers just because they want to stay with PlayStation, I think is a mistake. I'm not going to go buy an Xbox because of this. None of those titles that I mentioned just then, Doom, Quake, Fallout, none of that. Elder Scrolls, none of that makes me want to say, damn, I need an Xbox now. But my question is, I want to, the question's to you guys now. What are you going to do? Does this tip your way of thinking? If you were on the fence, oh, I can only get one right now, you know, let me get the Xbox now because of this, because they own, you know, Bethesda and all that now, and I'll get the PlayStation later? Or you're like me, you're gonna go, I don't care, I'm getting my PlayStation. Maybe down the road, if I decide I can't live without those games, I get an Xbox, but probably not personally. I want to know where you guys sit on it. Let me know in the comments, please. Also, what do you think about the future? Are they going to keep these exclusives? Are they going to keep these Xbox exclusives? If you think they are, do you think that's the right play? And I mean, tell me why. And I know it's limited, you know, how many characters you can put in, but try to formulate your thoughts with a limited amount of space to be able to do it in, I guess. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I think this is huge, though. I think this is a big win for Microsoft, honestly. This ain't the first time that they've acquired studios. I think they own like 23 or 25 or something like that, game developing studios. So, but this is huge. This is huge. It's huge for Microsoft. Good play. Congrats Microsoft on it. What did it sell for? $7.4 billion, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. They'll make that money back. You don't spend that kind of money unless you think you're going to make that money back. So I don't know. Again, to reiterate, I think the smart play is, you know, Phil Spencer even said, we're gonna leave Bethesda alone. We're gonna leave these people alone. We're gonna leave Zenimax alone. Let them do what they do. I think that's smart. I think that's a smart play. Now it just boils down to, are you going to allow these games that you now own to go to the competitor? I don't know. Again, what do you guys think? Appreciate y'all's time. Thanks.